One of these people is lying about liking your gift. But can you figure out who it is? Let's find out. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Behavioral Arts. My name is Spidey and I use my degree in sociology and psychology, my certifications in criminal interrogation and body language analysis, and over 10 years experience as an award-winning mentalist to teach people behavioral analysis and practical psychology on stages and television shows all over the world. This week, I'm super excited to finally be able to talk to you guys about the big national holiday commercial that I filmed all about body language and using behavioral analysis to know if somebody likes a gift that you've given them or not. So about a month ago, I was contacted by AT&T and they told me that they had this idea for a holiday campaign where they wanted social media influencers to receive gifts from a loved one, and they wanted a body language analyst or a behavioral analyst to watch that and point out ways to know which ones they actually like and which ones they're just pretending to like. And I thought that this was such a great idea if done the right way, and we'll talk about some of the things that were important to me, but I thought overall it was such a great idea because this is a situation where we definitely have people who are feeling one way but exhibiting something else. You know, they're trying to be like, oh my God, thank you so much, but in certain scenarios they might be feeling something a little different. So in this video today, we're gonna look at the result. We're gonna look at the ads. We're gonna see if you can determine, based on the behaviors that we're seeing, which gifts they're liking, which gifts they're just pretending to like. But we're also gonna talk a lot about the way this was done, the behind the scenes, and all the little details and some really interesting stories. We're even gonna have some guests. We're gonna have some of the influencers who were there on the shoot right here in this video, where I'm gonna tell them straight up what their body language was telling me during the shoot. Now, one of the reasons I think that this is going to be one of the best videos on the channel ever is because something's happening in this video that very rarely happens in analysis situations. And it's the fact that I didn't just sit there and analyze. In the commercial itself, after they were done opening the gifts, I came out, I told them who I was, and I told them what I saw. I said, based on your body language, I saw this, this, this. The reason this is really great is because as you guys watch these commercials, you might pick up on some stuff and go, okay, I'm feeling this, I'm thinking that, and then you'll have your confirmation because the person that we're analyzing is gonna flat out tell us which ones they actually liked and which ones they didn't. The other reason I think this is great is because body language analysis has some critics out there who say, because everyone is so different, you can't use body language or behavior to know what someone is thinking or feeling. But I did, again and again and again, all day. And then I came out and told the people, based on these behaviors, not that I think it could tell me exactly what they're thinking, but based on what I saw, here's what you seem to have liked a lot, and here's what I don't think you liked, and we got those confirmations. Okay, so let's take it from the top. Before we look at the commercials and you have a chance to try to figure out what you're seeing with the behaviors, I'm gonna give you guys the details of how the whole thing was planned, because there are some very important questions and details that you need to take into consideration before you look at these clips. So there were 3 ads in total, 3 couples. In each case, there was a gift giver and a gift receiver. They received the gifts, they opened the gifts, they reacted to the gifts, and then after all that, I came out, introduced myself, and told them what I saw and what it indicates, and which of the gifts they actually liked and which ones they were just pretending to like. So here are the really important things to consider. First of all, in each commercial, we're gonna see them open about 3 or 4 gifts. Then I come out and I tell them what I saw with those specific gifts only. But in reality, they opened a lot more gifts than the ones that we're gonna see in the ads. Each person opened anywhere between 8 to 12 gifts. And I was sitting there watching them for like 45 minutes, making notes on every single gift. And then I came out and told them the ones where I saw the most behaviors that gave me the most information, and then they took those and made the ad with those ones. So in a lot of these cases, it looks like there's this gift and that gift, they like this one, they don't like that one, when in reality, there were a lot of gifts in the mix that they really liked, some that they didn't like, so there was a lot more going on than just the gifts we're seeing. The next thing that's really, really important is that before the moment that you're gonna see in this ad where I come out and introduce myself, there has been 0 exchange or conversation between me and the person receiving the gifts. We didn't meet, we didn't have a single conversation. They were actually really, really good about keeping us very separate On set, the only information that I was given was who they are. That's it. And because they're all social media influencers, I had a chance to go watch their videos, their content, see what their tells are, what their idiosyncratic behaviors are, and really know a little bit more what to look for once they sit down and open these gifts. The partners, on the other hand, the ones who were giving the gifts, I had a brief conversation with them before we started because they were in on the whole thing. They knew exactly what was going on. They knew that I was going to come out and call their partner out on which ones they legitimately liked and which ones they didn't. And the reason I talked to them before was just to coach them a little bit on how to ask certain questions. For example, I told them if there's pauses or silences, don't fill them in yourself. I want to see what they're going to do with those silences because it could tell me a lot. So just a couple little tips like that, quick conversation. So we're going to start with Tisha and Ashlee, who were actually the first couple that we filmed that day and the first ad that AT&T released. And what I loved about Tisha is that she was pretty much perfect for this commercial because she really didn't want to hurt Ashlee's feelings in not liking any of the gifts. So she was being super positive and super thank you, I love it, with every gift, even the ones that she really didn't like that much. So here's the ad, take a look.
Hi, honey.
Hey, girl.
You look so beautiful.
Excited to give you some gifts.
Gifts, okay. Don't make me cry. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh my goodness. Wait, is there multiple things in this? Okay. We got a whole gaming console? Now I'm never gonna work. I'm just gonna be gaming. Oh my gosh. This is probably one of the coolest gifts I've ever received. Going to be living in the future.
Golfing in
Oh
the
my
future.
gosh, I'll be golfing in the future. Okay.
I'm so excited about this one.
You got me flippers?
We had such a good time diving in Curacao. I figured why not get you your own diving set?
I love it. Well, now I have no excuse but to really learn how to swim.
Hello, Tish. My name is Spidey.
Hi, Spidey.
I'm a body language and behavioral analyst, and I'm here to tell Ashlee which of her gifts you actually liked and which ones you were just pretending to like.
Is this real life right now? This is a twist I was not prepared for. Okay.
So with the flippers, there's a few things that happen almost instantly. First, you start to blink a lot more, which happens when we're processing or when we're in high stress. And I saw your eyes scanning as well as you're trying to figure out what this is. Whereas with the VR headset from AT&T, you were excited to put it on, stop the shoot, I need to play these games right now.
Yes, that is absolutely true. Honey, I love all the gifts.
So there it was, the first ad with Tisha and Ashlee. Now, if you want to go back and watch it again, go ahead and do that because there's a lot of stuff happening with the behaviors that go beyond just a couple of tips that I gave at the end of that analysis in the commercial, and you'll have a chance to find out if the things you spotted were accurate because we actually have Tisha and Ashlee here on the channel for the analysis. So we're gonna share some behind the scenes stories, then we're gonna have a chance to analyze her behaviors and talk about what we saw with her there to confirm how accurate it is. But before we do that, do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on for more behavioral analysis and practical psychology content. Okay, so you guys saw them in the ads, but here they are in studio. We have Ashlee and Tish. What's up?
What's up,
Hi,
Spidey?
Spidey.
So good to see you.
I'm so excited to have you guys here. I'm so glad we can do this.
Me too.
So there are a lot of questions that some of my viewers had about the logistics of how this whole thing was set up. And to be honest, things were moving so fast that there are some answers that even I don't have. And my first one is actually for Ashlee. How early in the process did you know that I was going to be there and I was like the whole body language element of this ad? Did you know that from the first, like from day one?
Yes, I did. So like, I think they reached out to me 2 weeks prior and let me know that I was going to have to choose all these different gifts because we were going to have, you know, a behavior specialist and analyst come in and you were going to be able to tell us and everyone there in the room flat out what she hated, what she didn't like. So that's why I was very strategic in the gifts that I chose because I knew that it was going to have to be very dramatic as far as the reveal of what she did like and what she didn't like. So I knew from the get-go. Yeah.
So good. I love that. And I think you did such a great job because it's one thing to pick gifts that you know she's just going to dislike and
Right.
like it'll be obvious to anyone watching, but you had to walk a very fine line where you had to have gifts that you thought she's going to dislike, but she'll still have to pretend to like.
Exactly. Yeah. It
So
was
good.
really hard coming up with the ideas for those gifts specifically because she's like the most humble, most grateful person ever that you'll ever meet. So anytime I was trying to come up with a gift idea, I was like, she's gonna pretend to like this enough to where it's going to seem genuine, everything I picked.
Tish, what did production tell you this was? I don't even know. Like, what did you think? Because from the moment I was involved, I was like, you're going to look at her and tell us when she's being deceptive. What did you think the concept of the commercial was?
They just said, we're going to be doing a holiday campaign and it's going to involve some gift giving. And then we hopped on the first call together and they said, okay, first we want to talk to the both of you. And then when they finished talking to me, they're like, okay, you can leave now. And that was all I knew. And then, so when I came to the set, all I understood was I'm going to open some gifts. I'm assuming it's going to be maybe AT&T inspired, some of these gifts, something that AT&T provides or a service. And I thought I was going to be like, getting a gift is already a surprise, but I surely did not expect you. No. I did not expect you for the life of me. No, not at all.
Surprise, I'm real surprised. But I think Ashlee made a very good list of stuff to where you would believe that any of those were actual gifts she was giving you. But I could be wrong about that. So was there a point where you tuned in that something's wrong, or did you legit believe the whole thing that these are gifts that Ashlee legit got you because she thought you would like?
No, I knew that there were some gifts that were like, I'm not sure why she would choose it, but like it didn't seem so far off for her to maybe give it. Like when there was they gave like a little doggy outfit with a matching sweater, and I'm like, well, that's not far off. We are about to get a puppy, but I was like, but why is it pink? Like, I thought we're gonna get a boy. Maybe she wants to get a girl. I don't know. Like, I second guessed myself, but I didn't think. I'm like, oh, that was definitely not her plan.
Like I'm on.
Like I was definitely not. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I felt that's perfect. Production asked you before I did my analysis to think about what your two favorite gifts were and your two least favorite. And the reason they did that is because they didn't want my analysis to skew your opinion for agreement. They wanted you to come into it with that knowledge. So do you remember more or less what your favorites and your least favorites were, like before you even met me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what I saw behaviorally. Now, of course, it's possible that you were a little more demonstrative with certain positivities than others, but based on behavior, what I saw, and you'll let me know how close this is.
Okay.
The most positive reactions you got were the phone.
Yes.
The VR headset was actually very high up there.
Yeah.
But, and this was surprising, the necklace was a bit of a roller coaster, but your highest positivity was during the necklace. I know that there were ups and downs, but there was also a lot of positivity there. Does that make sense?
That is, yes, all very true.
Okay. Negative. It's funny because it wasn't the flippers for me. I think the flippers had some stuff that I can really teach in a digestible way to the viewers. But the most negative we saw behaviorally was to the welcome mat.
Oh, yeah, hands down.
Really ugly welcome
I was
mat.
like, I don't know how to flip this. No, and you were like, yeah, because we just moved, and I was like,
yeah,
So-
you were
we're done designing. Like,
yeah,
we're-
you were
this is
so
the last thing we
confused.
need.
Yeah.
It's the last
Yeah,
thing.
that was for sure the most, and we were having such a good laugh later because we were going back and looking at the clips, and I had to make comments. And when you looked at the mat, Tish, twice, you looked at it and you had this look on your face. As you were like trying to like think of like, yeah, we can, and you just kind of did this kind of scrunching, and this inward scrunching is never a good thing.
God.
Yeah, I believe it. I was at a loss of words for a moment there. I didn't really know what to say.
No.
Okay, now let's talk about the behaviors that we actually do see in the ad, because a lot of stuff actually made it into the ad, and I'm very happy about that. The first one, and we even talked about it in the ad, is blink rate. So blink rate is something that we see typically when something interests us. It has our attention, our blink rate goes down because we want to take it all in. But as we access memory and we process information, or when we're stressed, we start to blink a lot more. And Tish, there's something really interesting that happens with you. When you're processing, you flutter, what we call flutter. It's these quick bursts of da-da-da-da with the eyelids. And what's really interesting, even more interesting than that, is that in the ad, when I came out and I introduced myself and I said why I'm there, while you were registering what this is, we saw that flutter again.
Yeah.
So that same flutter that we saw with the fins, we saw it again.
Yeah.
And here's what I think was happening. And I want you to elaborate on this. I think for one thing, you were processing what's going on. So I think it was the flutter of processing. But second, your eyes kind of glazed over for a moment as that flutter set in. And I think what was happening, Tish, and we never talked about this, but I think you were revisiting the last half hour to be like, did it look really bad? You were trying to figure out like what's the worst thing I could have seen? You were trying to go back and be like, oh my God, what did I do? Because he's about to talk about it. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I probably had like 100
Look, he's
different.
doing it right now.
Yeah.
You were just fluttering right now as you were trying to recall what you were doing. But go ahead.
Yes,
Yeah.
like I literally had like 100 different thought streams coming in all at once the moment that I was putting two and two together, that like, oh my gosh, he was analyzing my every move. And now I have like the last 20 minutes or however long, 30 minutes in my mind, like, what gifts did I say? What didn't I say? What did I love? What
Almost
did I not
like
love?
when
Am I
you
lying to
drink too
myself? Like,
much.
it was just a lot of thoughts coming in at once. And I
Yeah.
was like, well, this was really, truly a surprise. If my face didn't show a surprise enough, I really don't know what else to say, because I had never been more genuinely surprised. I literally said, I think I'm being punked right now.
So one of the things I actually said in my analysis on set that, again, didn't make air was the vast difference when you liked a gift and when you didn't like a gift. Actually, there were a lot of things. So when you liked something, like I said earlier, that blink rate actually lowered and you displayed it. Very often you kind of held it and like because I guess, I don't know if it's because you've done a lot of brand deals, so you're kind of used to this kind of thing, and you stared. With the more negative ones, there was a lot more scanning. So your blink rate was up, your eyes were scanning, and you maneuvered the object a lot more, trying to desperately look for something to say.
I'm like just trying to find a compliment somewhere on this welcome mat.
Exactly. So with the mat, but also with the flippers, you flip those things around like, I think about 30 times. Like looking at one side, looking at the other side, just scanning, reading, like, please, God, let me find something to say. Your words were falling apart a little bit more. But a huge thing that I saw was with the VR headset, you were going to put it on, but I think you were aware of the fact that you were on set and didn't want to mess up your hair, so you didn't.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Whereas with the flippers, no part of you was like, let me put these on.
Yeah. Right.
Let me try these out.
Absolutely
for size.
not. I
No.
forget. Was it you who were like, why don't you try the goggles on? And I'm like,
No.
maybe later. Maybe when we're home.
Yeah.
I'm like, definitely not that.
Yeah. Yeah. You hit the nail right on the head too, especially with just like her like displaying it. It's almost like what someone does, like when they're like when kids opening gifts, or like you're at a baby shower and they're like displaying everything they love. But I've seen that behavior in other people too. It's like when you get that one gift and you just kind of like look at it and like put it to the side and on to the next thing, right? Like it was very familiar with that. So I saw that immediately and I was like, oh God.
Yeah. I want to talk about a very consistent behavior with you, which we kind of hinted at. But for me, this is at the same time your greatest strength, but also it was the biggest tell. And we saw this consistently with you again and again and again. And what it is this. Because you're such a positive person and because you were so aware of the fact that Ashlee's the one giving you these gifts on TV and you wanted to protect her emotions as well, the moment you saw a gift that you didn't like, even in the least, the conversation turned to something about the relationship, to something about her, to something that will bring it back to her. And we saw this so consistently. So we saw this with the flippers, because you saw the flippers, you were processing, we saw the flutter, you're flipping it around, and your initial reaction was, I don't like this. But then I saw a light go off in your head and you started to get legitimately excited. And I got on that walkie-talkie and I said, she's excited because Ashlee's going to like this. And then you immediately said, Ashlee, is this a gift for me or for you? And started talking about how you're excited that you guys can go do something Ashlee enjoys, even if you don't.
Together. Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's literally the thought process. And like the moment, I mean, I think for anything, like the moment that I knew that like it's because how much it would bring her joy, it changed everything for me. Yeah. And when we did go snorkeling that one time in Curacao, I nearly did not make it. I was very much suffering. I lost a flipper nearly in the middle of the ocean. I'm like trying to wade in the water. The waves are taking me over. It was rough, but I knew that if I were to do it again, it would make her happy, and it would also make me better, and we could enjoy something together.
Right. So it's that flip was so consistent. It was the same with the mat. You did not like the mat, but you focused on your home together and all this stuff. So you immediately turned it to the connection. Anyways, guys, it was such a pleasure to work with you guys and to have this experience with you guys and to provide you that massive surprise, Tish. I think, it was such a fast-paced day. So much went on. Where can the viewers find you? And also, like, I think what you guys actually do is amazing, because in the ad, it's like, here are these influencers, but like, we don't actually talk about why you guys are the influencers that you are. So talk a little bit about what you guys do and where we can go follow you.
For sure. So my handle is at Tisha Alyn, TishaAlyn, and that's basically my handle on every platform that you find. And my background comes from being a golfer all my life. Played golf since I was 3, started competing since I was 7. I played professional golf. I put the bag down 5 years ago, and then I fully went into this media world that was totally unknown, and especially in the women's golf world, it was not popular. And so I call myself a golf media personality, but it entails so much more than just, it's more than an influencer. It's more than a creator. I'm also the lead Fitbit trainer. I'm a golf instructor. I also host many events. I host celebrity events. I do a lot of charity events. There's just so much more to it, but anything golf related, women's sports related, or golf and entertainment, I'm basically your best segue.
100%. Yeah. So good.
All right, Ash, follow that now.
Yeah, I'm like, mine's like 5 seconds, but no. You guys can follow me on Instagram. My handle is at Ashlee_Driver. That's Ashlee with 2 E's. Very different from the normal spelling, but I'm a photographer and a creative director and a social media strategist. So when I'm not shooting photos or at a photo shoot, then I'm probably just creating relatable content that makes me happy. I show a lot of our day in the life and a lot of point of view, and honestly, that's just what keeps us going. So I was happy that AT&T was able to invite me because they liked us enough as a couple, and they were like, we need you both. So
I think it's so great what you're both doing in that, like, you're actually providing an awesome role model to younger generations to look up to something that like actually entails talent and hard work. And it's so amazing to see that, because I was like, yes, I want to work with these two. So guys, thanks so much for doing this. Thanks for being here with us today as well.
Thank you, Spidey. Of course. Anytime.
Anytime you want us on your YouTube, we are there. We want to bring you to all the parties because we would love to have a human lie detector with us.
Tell you guys, no, she ain't real. She ain't real. She ain't a real one. She ain't a real one.
Don't trust that one. They will you for your connections. Like,
get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. They're just trying to social climb, girls.
Yes. I'm gonna have you come to our dinner party so you can tell me if her mom really likes my cooking or not.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. Okay, next up we have the second ad with Anthony and Tatiana, and there's a lot going on here. So take a look and try to notice what you're seeing with the words he uses, the body language, the facial expressions, a lot going on. Here it is.
Hey babe, what's up?
Hi baby. Are you ready to open some gifts?
Look, where they at? Let's do it. I'm ready. I've been waiting all day, girl. Let's go. What is it? Oh. What?
What's that?
These are Ray-Ban smart glasses though, babe. What we cooking tonight?
Yeah, do a little walk up for me. Come on.
These are tough, babe. What? We got his and hers bracelets. This is fly though. There we go. This is actually creative for a bracelet. You wanna touch my bracelet? My girl got it for me. It's a friendship bracelet.
You are so cute.
This will go with my yellow shoes that I got at the house. You got me a phone?
Do you like it?
Bruh, this is
Do
lit.
you like it?
That's lit. Hello? What you doing?
That's the Google Pixel 8 from AT&T, and it is yours.
What?
What's going on, man? My
How
name
you
is
doing?
Spidey.
Nice to meet you.
I'm a body language and behavioral analyst. I was watching your reactions the entire time you were opening your gifts to determine if you were lying about liking any of them.
You set me up?
Something I noticed is your use of words. So when you were trying to explain that you like the bracelets, you came up with creative, which was really cute, but I didn't buy it.
Got me red-handed.
But with the Ray-Ban Smart sunglasses, you were saying things like, this is fire, this is fly. And then when you got the Google Pixel 8 Pro, you approached. We saw what we call a Duchenne smile. That's a real smile. The corners come up, your cheeks bubble out, and your eyes squint a little bit.
That's 100% spot on, bro.
All right, there it was. Now, unfortunately, Anthony and Tatiana couldn't join me this week for an interview. We had one scheduled, but they had a last-minute conflict. But regardless, there's a lot to talk about, even with just the video that we saw. So this was a really interesting one because when I posted this one on Instagram, there were a lot of comments, I got a lot of DMs, and a lot of you said he did not like those bracelets. The body language is vastly different with the bracelets than the other stuff. But some people said, okay, maybe he doesn't love it as much as the other ones, but it certainly seems like he still really likes the bracelets. So there are two really important things to keep in mind with Anthony. The first one is, as a baseline, as a person, he's a very positive individual filled with gratitude. And this is his girlfriend giving him gifts, and there was never going to be a negative reaction. Because he's thankful, he's excited that she put thought into these gifts, it was always going to be positive. So you have to remember baseline. That's our starting point. So just because some people would be a lot more obvious in their negativity doesn't mean it applies to everyone. And this is a very positive person, so that was a challenge. You have to look past that. The second important thing to keep in mind is, once again, remember, this is very condensed. So I was sitting there watching him just with the bracelets for a solid 10 minutes. So I saw a lot more nuances, a lot more moments that made me concrete in my analysis than the quick blasts that you're seeing here in the ad. But even with what we saw, even with just what we saw, there are quite a few signs. If you consider the fact that overall he's a positive person, there are a lot of signs that the bracelets were not a big hit. So the first thing you'll notice with Anthony is that he uses his entire body to emote. With the sunglasses, he got up out of the chair, he did a little fashion show, he was moving around. With the phone, you saw him really animated with the body. And when he was with that phone, even if you looked at his feet, you could see movement there. His legs were dancing. But with the bracelets, he was significantly more still. Yes, there was still some gestures and movement, but the whole energy was lower. His whole body language was lower. His tone was lower. Next, we have his use of words, which I touched on in the ad a little bit, but there's more to it than that. So with the bracelet, he said, this is actually creative. So not just creative, actually creative.
This is actually creative for a bracelet.
So creative is not an adjective he was using much. He had his go-to adjectives when he was in that high energy, excited. He had all these adjectives he would use. Creative was not one of them. But now we have him with this lower tone calling this creative, which it even took him a second to get to that word. But there's also the use of the word actually. Now, some people use actually a lot. Actually this, actually that. Remember, that's baseline or idiosyncratic. We ignore that. He didn't use actually a lot. And for people who don't use it a lot, when they say actually, it almost always indicates some kind of inner debate or uncertainty. So think about if I come back from a restaurant and you ask me if I liked it. There's a difference between me saying it was really good and me saying it was actually really good. It's almost like the actually suggests that even I was surprised. Either I wasn't expecting it to be good, either there were elements of it that weren't good, either I debated with myself if it's good or not, and at the end I was like, yeah, it was actually pretty good. Actually almost always indicates some sort of conflict. Now here's the amazing part about this. His girlfriend, Tatiana, also picked up on something or somehow knew that he didn't love the bracelets. Because if you look at her reaction, as he's emoting, she's laughing like this. We see her cover her mouth, and then she goes, "You are so cute."
You are so cute.
I think she picked up on the fact that his energy was lower than usual, that creative isn't something he typically uses. And I think that's why we got this, "You are so cute," because she knew that aesthetically, he doesn't love these bracelets. He wouldn't pick these out for himself. But because she put thought into this and he thinks it's important to her and he has no idea what's going on here, he was genuinely trying to really love them and think about it and rationalize using it, right? Because he goes, these could actually go with my yellow shoes. That was rationalizing. Now, that's not always a bad thing, by the way. Some people, as a baseline, rationalize. They get a gift and they think, oh, here's how I'm gonna use it. Here's what I'm gonna do with it. For him, that wasn't the case. Whenever he got things that he actually liked, he was all emotion, no rationale. He's putting the glasses on, he's walking around with it, he's talking on the phone, all emotion. Him saying, I can wear these with my yellow shoes, is him going, I don't know if I like this. What can I do with it? Maybe, I have the yellow shoes. Yeah, I could wear this with the yellow shoes. So that rationale was him trying to pull something positive out of this. I think she caught that. She noticed that, and that's why we got the "you are so cute." It's literally her going, it's so cute that you're trying. And I'm sad he's not here to chat with us about all this, but that reaction you saw with him at the end of his ad was a reaction to all this, not just the stuff they aired. I had all these notes, everything I'm telling you right now, I told him right there and then, and he actually had one of the best reactions to that. He was completely mind blown. He kept going like, oh my God, that is dead on. That's exactly what's happening. And he was shocked because he thought he was doing a really good job hiding it when he didn't like certain gifts. The last thing I want to mention with Anthony is something that I was actually pretty proud of, and it's got to do with the scene we saw where with the sunglasses, he got up out of his chair and he started like showing them off and doing a little fashion show. So when I did my homework on him, when I went and watched his videos, I noticed that he emotes with his entire body, the way we saw in the ad. And so when he was about to film his segment, I was in my little corner, completely secluded, watching him on the screen. And I told the director, go tell him not to feel obliged to stay at his chair. If he wants to get up and leave the chair, tell him he can absolutely do that. Whatever he's feeling, go with that. And then I got on the walkie-talkie and I told the producers and the director, I said, guys, if you want to know which of these gifts he likes the most, or a lot, almost the most, one of the most, just wait for him to get up out of that chair. I promise you it's going to happen when he gets a gift that he really likes. And sure enough, when he got the sunglasses, after registering, after the surprise, boom, he just flew out of his chair, out of excitement, out of joy. And it was really great to see that this real moment of intense emotion that allowed me to know that he genuinely loves these glasses is because I'd done some homework on him, I knew his idiosyncratic behaviors, and I was able to tell the director, let him know that's okay. Because had he not been told that, he might think, okay, I gotta stay in this chair, and we wouldn't get that really easy clue when he came flying out of that chair. Okay, the last couple was Alex and Jon. I know that a lot of you watch their content. They make hilarious sketch videos, but even off camera, their dynamic was hilarious to witness. And you guys are gonna see it, even in the ad. Just so much fun. And pay a lot of attention to not just her reactions with the gifts, but the reaction to me coming out and telling her who I am and why I'm there. There's a lot of great body language there. Here it is, enjoy.
Hello.
Hi, my love.
I hear you have some things to give me. Ooh, light, airy. Is this for our car?
Because you complain all the time about how hot the car gets. It's gonna block out the sun.
Oh yeah,
some of
it's
the
great.
heat.
It's to block out the sun. I thought you were gonna say it's to block out the haters. A Galaxy watch? She's sleek. She's beautiful.
I might steal that from you.
Stop. A Galaxy tab?
I just know you so well,
I love it.
Hello, Alex.
Hi.
My name is Spidey. How are you? I'm a body language and behavioral analyst,
Oh,
and I
God.
was watching that entire thing, and I'm here to tell Jon
What?
which of his gifts you really like.
Stop. Wait, no.
And
Now I'm
which ones
sweating
you did
even
not.
more. Are we for real?
Let's talk about the sun visor for the car. We saw a lot of stuff with the eyes where you were closing, where you were avoiding, so you
Right.
didn't really want to face him while talking about this sun visor.
Sorry, John.
Whereas with the Samsung tablet and watch from AT&T,
I loved it.
your jaw dropped, but your eyebrows and even your chin went up as you were talking about it. Your tone went up. When we're excited, these are called gravity-defying gestures. Things go upwards out of excitement.
Well, thank you for analyzing me and getting to the truth.
All right, so I'm super excited to welcome them to the channel. Please welcome Alex and Jon.
Yay! Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
So excited, guys. This was for me, you guys were so entertaining to watch when I was back there that there was moments where I was just kind of losing myself in what I was supposed to be doing. And I'm just kind of laughing. I'm like, oh, you're supposed to be analyzing.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was all natural. I truly had no idea what was going on. So
It was so hard for me to like not tell her because I knew what was going on for like the past 2 weeks beforehand. So
You guys, it's not just that you guys are a couple. You guys, every aspect of your lives is interwoven. Like you guys work together, you stream together, you know, your Instagrams are connected. Jon, how difficult was it for you to like keep this massive secret from her? Because she thinks this ad is one thing, but you're the whole time, no, it's something else.
she's definitely good at prying. I just tried to stay away from her as much as possible because I'm actually really bad at keeping secrets in. So like I just like no eye contact, you know. But I don't know. For the most part, I think we were just doing so many other things.
Yeah.
You were kind of preoccupied, luckily.
right, like it's one of our busiest times of year, but also I didn't anticipate that there was going to be a twist. Like the whole time I just thought that you were going to surprise me with something big. So I was like, what could it be? Is it going to be a puppy? Is it going to be a car? Like I had no idea what it was going to be.
She was definitely more focused on the gift
Yeah.
part of it. So I was just trying to like hide that from her.
In the ad, we see you open just a few things and I comment on those things, but in reality, you opened a lot more things. Without saying it, do you remember like some of your favorites and some of your least favorites?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I love it. So I'm going to give you behaviorally what I saw. Although all the AT&T stuff were absolutely positive reactions, and I'm glad because I told production, like, I don't want to fake stuff if she doesn't actually like them. You actually did like all the AT&T gifts, but by far your most positive reaction was when Jon gave you a giant blown up picture of your dog.
Yes. I screamed. It was, again, I think it's anything that has like sentimental value. Like my dog is, besides my husband, my favorite person on this planet. I love him so much. He's my actual child and he deserves the world. And so to see him just like there, it was such a surprise. Oh, I love him.
I'm very happy that they kept a bit of that. So in the beginning, when you're opening your gifts in the actual ad that ended up making the air, we see you open the gift and we see that loud upwards yell. I'm glad just that made that. It's such a great demonstration of what I was seeing with your more positive ones. The two most negative, one of them made the air. It was that sun visor thing. Then it was the regifted self-watering. There was a self-watering.
We still don't know what it's called.
I think it's called like an at-home. It's not called this, but it is like an at-home indoor self-watering planter. It's for like herbs. If you're on vacation, it connects to an app. You could like, you know, sprinkle your water. So yeah, sprinkle some water.
She always told me she wanted to grow plants inside the house.
Outside the house. I never said inside the house. Is it
Well,
outside the house?
she would kill the plants, so that's why I got her something that she doesn't have to take care of.
No, but
I got that for her last Christmas.
And we are still like moving it in storage.
It's still not out of the box, Spidey, by the way. It's still in the box.
But here's what's interesting about that, Alex. You actually did put on that, no, you know, we were moving, I was busy, but I actually do like it. I will use it. Like there was actually stuff that you were trying to mask a little bit there. Like,
yeah, I think because Jon had like re-gifted it to me in front of so many other people that I was trying to be like, okay, well, I don't want to seem like the asshole who doesn't, you know, like his gifts. So this is why I haven't used it in 2 years.
Yeah. So it was great for me to see that because I could go to work in that moment. Because what happened is on the walkie-talkie, the producer said, oh, she actually does like it. I'm like, nope, no, she doesn't.
No. Yeah.
I was like, nope. So there was that was great. I have such a great memory from a moment that I don't know if you remember this happening, but regarding one of the gifts, something happened on set that I've been telling people and I was so proud of. And it's a great demonstration about how body language works because we were on set, we met, I came out, I told you what I saw. Then you were at your table, like maybe 3 or 4 feet away from me. And the director came up to me and said, okay, for the negative ones, we have the visor, we have the self-watering thing, but we need one more just to have. They wanted just one more negative to have. And I looked over my notes and there was this pink fuzzy lamp you got. And I said, almost in a whisper, I didn't want you to hear it. I said, I don't know if she liked the pink fuzzy lamp. And you heard me and you went, I don't know if I like the pink fuzzy lamp.
Yeah.
And that was so great because in my notes, it was conflicting for me. I was like, there were moments where I was buying that you could see yourself using this. Then there was moments where I was seeing where you weren't that certain. So I was going back and forth and I didn't know if it was like, I didn't see it, I misread it. But for me, it was uncertain, like don't know.
And I truly didn't know because I had seen lamps like that before with like different colored feathers that I was like, oh my God, these are so cute. But then when I got it in hot pink, I was like, I don't know. Like maybe somewhere in our house I could put it, but I couldn't really think where. But like I did like the lamp overall.
That's beautiful. And that's such a great example of how body language works. You know, sometimes people will send me a clip and be like, is this person lying? Like over a half-hour interview. And I'm like, not everything is black or white. You know, I'm not always gonna be able to tell you that's a lie. That's the truth. In fact, in most cases, I can't tell you with certainty when something's a lie.
Yeah.
I just have a heading. I just have an idea. And that was such a great example of how like sometimes it's very ambiguous.
Right. Because it is in my brain as well.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's actually do some analysis of the ad that did air. Again, we know that that was like an hour condensed into a minute and a half, but there's still some great stuff we're seeing there. One of the things we already talked about was, Alex, when you open that dog poster and we see it in the beginning, the poster of your dog, that instant, like everything you're shooting, your whole energy going upwards. And I said in the ads, they're called gravity-defying gestures.
Alex loves that dog so much. Like literally as soon as I saw her eyes light up, like in any sort of expression, I know that's like her thing. So immediately it was like, she loves this.
And it's funny though, that now that you say like upwards expression is like a sign of like joy, happiness, like excitement, what you love. Cause anything, I'm like just such a vocal, like loud person that I'm like, wow, I'm always excited about things. Like I feel like when I see people that I love, or like when we just had a renovation done in our house, and anytime that I would walk into the doors, I'd be like, like I just love it so much. So yeah.
So expressive.
Yeah.
I think she's so expressive for both of us.
Right.
But I'm about to reveal to you, Alex, the number one thing that was so reliable with you when you didn't like something.
Ooh.
Ready?
What is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. So the thing I love about this is that I called it early on. So you opened a couple of gifts and I saw this pattern very early on, and I was sitting in the back watching you with a producer, and I told the producer, oh my God, I have her tell, it's this. And we just watched you do it again and again and again from that point in time on, and it never missed a single time, to the point where the producer was like, her jaw was on the floor. She was like, I can't believe you called it this early. Here's what it was.
Oh my gosh.
Anytime you liked a gift, even a little, like liked, loved, positive, when that segment for that one gift was done, and you know the cameras were setting up for the next one and the people were moving the things around, you would continue to talk to Jon on the tablet. You would go, no, this was really great. You know, we could put this, I actually want to put this in the bedroom. You would keep talking to him about how this gift is going to be used in your life. You kept that connection with him between shots. When you didn't like a gift, you avoided that tablet like the plague. You didn't even look at him. You looked right up like this. You were looking at producers, looking for makeup. And I feel a part of this, I could be wrong, is that because you know he knows you so well, you almost just wanted to get to the next thing because he'll see it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
This is very informative for me.
Oh,
So,
now,
like,
you think you're going to be paying attention now?
Now, like, well,
I'd be like,
you open up
mean,
your gifts now and be like,
but I think like now that you point that out, like it's just accurate, because the last thing I want to do is talk more about something that like is making me uncomfortable. Like
True.
I'm like, let's change the topic. Like I don't want to address this. So like move on, let's get to the next. And plus like not me thinking I'm just like being professional, you know, like, all right, cool. Like let's move on. I didn't even catch on that. Like I was
like
talking
subconsciously,
more,
you're just like, I'm over this.
that I was talking more about the gifts that I love.
That's so interesting. It's so funny because like you say, we're with each other 24/7. I didn't even pick up on that at
You
all.
would think that like we would know these little things about each other.
Right.
Oh, and also with the very positive stuff, you say his name a lot. Jon.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot. So it's like
funny.
when it's positive, it's Jon. And when it's negative, it's no Jon, no.
That's probably because that's how we actually act in real life. Like when I love him, I just want to annoy him. I'm like,
Yeah.
Jon,
And then when you hate me, you're like, get away
yeah,
from
I'm
me.
like, who are you?
There it
I wanna
is.
talk to
That's
you.
what I saw.
So funny. That is so funny.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Alex, during the gifts, you certainly had a lot of highs, a lot of lows. But I think for me, as a body language analyst, the most stuff I saw And the most stuff I could talk about and analyze wasn't even about you reacting to gifts. It was about you reacting to me.
Yep.
I have been laughing so hard at your reaction to realizing who I am and why I'm there.
Okay,
So,
let me give you my perspective. You come out, I'm like, oh my gosh,
Like, who is this man?
This guy just like works for AT&T. Maybe I'm like, do I cut? Like, is he telling me like something that I'm doing wrong? And then you introduce yourself and I'm like, he's going to be like, I'm the CEO. I don't know. And then you're like, I'm a behavior and body analyst. And I immediately knew. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, I've been being analyzed this entire time. And I just broke. And I was like, oh,
So
and I didn't even hear
the excitement thing.
I didn't even hear anything else that you said. Honestly, I had no clue what you said until I watched the ad over.
So here's the thing. So let's talk about a few things we saw in that moment, because there's some beautiful body language. The upward gesture wasn't this gesture. It was upwards, but it was a little different. Let's talk about a few things we saw. You ended up anchoring down on the table. And towards the end of the reaction, you were gripping onto the table. This is something we very often see with like politicians when they grip onto the podium, or even lecturers when tough topics come up. We see them start gripping onto things. You're anchoring yourself down. You're bracing yourself for something. So that's where you ended up. You braced yourself. But as I was talking, we saw something we talk about a lot on the channel, which is called a stop gesture. So the orientation of hands when we speak is not universal. All over the world, we see different orientations with different cultures. But one thing that is universal, pretty much everywhere in the world, is this. When the hand comes up with the palm outwards like this, fingers extended, almost anywhere in the world, this is a negation, or we're trying to stop something or get someone's attention, almost everywhere. So we see after you grip the table, just before you say the word stop, literally, your hand comes up like this towards me. So it's like, no, we are not doing this. So that was such a beautiful demonstration of a stop gesture. All that being said, I know stop gestures. I know that anchoring gesture very well. I even know that initially you guarded, like your shoulders came up, and this is when we're feeling defensive. There are parts of the body we defend because we know they're vulnerable. Neck, wrists, and the organs. So when we're defensive, all these things close up. So that shoulders coming up is you guarding the neck, because and you froze. So we say often when your limbic system kicks in, freeze, fight, or flight. And in that moment you froze. You're like, okay, confrontation. With all that being said, Alex, you stumped me, because I've been studying body language for 20 years. And there was a part of the initial reaction that I've looked at and I'm like, what is happening here? And it's this.
Oh my God.
So we have the guarding. I get this. This is defensive. But I love this Frankenstein, Michael Jackson, and Thriller arms up as you're going, oh God.
That is so funny. I think, I don't know. I think because I'm just so expressive, I was like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, where do I put them? I really didn't know. And I'm like, where do I go?
You know what this reminds me of? You know what this reminds me of? It's almost like you're drowning and you need to float up. Like you need, like, oh no, I need to breathe. I need to, because like it's almost like it's upwards, but it's not that positive upwards. It's like this trying to like, I gasped for air type thing, but the moment those hands shot up, I was like, whoa, what is happening here?
I need to watch everyone else's reactions because I haven't yet. I need to see how everyone else reacted.
You're so expressive, like body language, everything. It almost feels like
I feel like Alex is gonna.
Bigger.
Sorry,
go ahead. Make yourself like bigger, like, you know.
That's a great point. Look at Jon, body language analyst.
Hey,
I mean, because you said, but hold on, Jon, it's not fair. You actually, your background is in occupational therapy, so you've studied a little bit of the body mechanics. But you're absolutely right. When we're sometimes threatened, so we have the freeze response, but we also make ourselves bigger in the face of a threat. So there's something called arms akimbo, which is like you see people stand like this. We often see this in a moment of like conflict is coming, so I'm trying to stand my ground. Or we see people get bigger, more intimidating. You know, in fights, like at a club, you might see this kind of like.
I really just think it was more like of an awkward, like I'm just so uncomfortable, and everyone tricked me. I'm the only one who wasn't in on this joke.
might be a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
I feel like Alex is going to
Run
now
away.
go watch the other reactions and be like, okay, how do normal people react?
Yeah,
Make
exactly.
notes. Like, next time Jon tricks me with a body language analyst, what's the normal thing to do? Anyone who thinks that this was in any way scripted, please watch that moment, because does this look rehearsed?
Yeah. You think that I would choose
On
to
purpose.
do that?
Yeah.
Like, no, that is just my natural reaction. I can't control that.
Guys, it was such a pleasure to work with you guys. And honestly, I've had such a fun time discovering your content. And I think it's so great because you guys joke about this stuff, but then in the podcast, you actually talk about the dynamic of a relationship. So Jon or Alex, however, why don't you tell us a little bit about where the viewers can go follow you and what you're doing on these platforms?
Jon? Okay, well, fabulous. I'll take it over.
Take it away.
So we have a podcast called Give It To Me Straight, where we answer listener questions. They're all anonymous. So it's fun because people are pretty crazy. And I think because it's anonymous, nobody holds back. And we call it our mediocre advice that we give. So we give our mediocre advice every week on Give It To Me Straight. So that's there. And then for some comedic content, we are on TikTok and Instagram at Alexandra Madisson, Alex and Jon.
My Instagram account's jon.boof because I couldn't think of anything cooler to put. So, but yeah, it's just all of our content's just our daily lives.
Yeah,
you
Jon
know?
is really my inspiration for writing the
What do you
content.
call me? Your
muse? You're my muse. Yeah, he just does things.
I just do things, you know?
And I'm like, wow, I wonder if other people.
Maybe that's the
relate
secret
to
to why
this.
you guys are so happy, because anytime you do something to irritate her, she goes, I'm going to do a sketch about that.
Yeah, this
Exactly.
is my idea.
Exactly. So I can do no wrong, right?
But you know what?
Sure.
I think like you guys are saying mediocre advice, but at the end of the day, I've watched you guys interact. I'm watching you guys interact now. And for a couple that's always together, working together, living together, every aspect of your lives is just one. The fact that you guys can make it work and you're still so happy together, like that's amazing. So I think a lot of people can learn from that, the secrets to that. Yeah, so I do hope everyone comes and checks out the podcast. It's great fun. Your content, a lot of my viewers watched your content independently and got excited when they saw you're part of this ad, because the sketches you do on Instagram and TikTok, they're so relatable, so funny. You're both great. You're both so good at capturing.
This is the most compliment I've gotten.
Like,
we'll come back.
We like
anytime
you,
want.
Spidey. He's so nice.
But even from a body language perspective, like I think that's the reason it works. It's because it's sketches, but based in reality, to where I'm feeling that real element to it.
Right.
100%. I agree.
Well, we are just reacting what happens in our real lives. So that's what the sketches are. Yeah.
Couldn't be more natural.
But thank you. And likewise to you. It was so great connecting with you.
Thank you so much.
Again, didn't meet you until you came on set and completely terrified me and scared me. But it was so fun. It was such a blast though, getting to do that and then having you analyze everything and point out things that we do every day that we just don't even pick up on.
And now I took some tips from you. So now I know what to look for when Alex opens up her Christmas presents. So
oh right. Fabulous.
Yes, I love it. That's it this weekend. It's
I'm
coming.
gonna have
Alex,
to learn.
brace yourself.
I'm gonna have to learn what Jon's things are all on my own. I'm gonna have to
just
film
it
it
and send it to me. Just film it and send it to me.
I was gonna say, I'll film them and send it to you.
Guys, you now have a body language analyst at your disposal.
Perfect.
I'm gonna start filming all of our fights. Yeah.
No, I'm not getting involved in fights. Nope.
You're like, listen, I'm not a therapist.
You're also a therapist now. Yeah.
No, I'm not picking sides. I'm not picking sides. Love you both.
I would win.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. This was a blast.
Thank you.
Okay, so there it was, my holiday campaign with AT&T. I thought it was such a fun project, such a great idea that presented body language analysis in a light, fun, but really educational context. I had so much fun making it. They are pushing this ad out all over the place, all over the internet. And it's also on Instagram. I'll leave some links in the description. If you guys are on Instagram, please do me a favor. Go comment, like, share, because I really do want this to get out there because I had so much fun doing it. And as you saw, it was just really great moments of analysis. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of these ads and what you saw. Did you spot a lot of the behaviors we talked about? Did you spot some other stuff that we didn't cover? And did you enjoy watching them as much as I enjoyed making them? Once again, it was a blast and a great concept just before the holidays. Speaking of which, this weekend is actually Christmas. So for those of you who celebrate, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. And for those of you who don't, I hope you have a wonderful holiday season with your loved ones or whoever you celebrate with. And remember, if you're exchanging gifts, it's not about the behaviors, it's not about the blink rates or the Duchenne smiles. It's about the spirit of giving and sharing some time with those we love. And I hope you guys have an awesome and safe holiday season. Let me know in the comments what you thought of these ads, and I will see you on the next one.